In this video, I'm going to give you the 3 common obstacles to raising up new worship leaders at your church, and I'm going to give you 3 solutions to solve them and 1 super amazing solution at the very end. So let's get into it. Hey, if you're new to the channel, my name's Alex. I'm the founder of Worship Ministry Training, an online training platform that has helped thousands of worship leaders all over the globe build healthy, organized, and excellent worship ministries. I'm also a worship pastor. I've been a pastor in churches of 100 all the way up to 10,000 in size. And in today's video, I'm going to share with you the 3 common obstacles that will get in the way of you developing new and up-and-coming worship leaders at your church and how to solve those obstacles. This is the final video in a 3-part series about how to train up worship leaders. In the previous 2 videos, we've talked about why we should raise up worship leaders, how we can raise up worship leaders, and then in this video, I'm going to help you overcome some of the hurdles that you'll face as you go through this process. So if you haven't checked out those other 2 videos, I'll put links right below in the description. But let's jump into the 3 common obstacles and 3 solutions, plus a super amazing solution that I'll tell you about at the very end. The first obstacle that you might face in raising up worship leaders is lack of leadership support. What do I mean? I mean that your senior pastor might like the idea of raising up new worship leaders, and he's all about discipleship, but when it comes to actually doing it, he's hesitant because he doesn't want the quality of worship to drop at your church. And that's totally understandable, right? As much as we'd hate to say it, what happens on Sunday at church keeps the lights on and pay the bills Monday through Saturday. And so they don't want the quality to drop. How do you overcome this obstacle? Well, the solution to obstacle number 1 is honest conversations. You must be willing to step into some honest conversations with your senior pastor and sell the benefits of having multiple worship leaders at your church. You have to sell the idea that, hey, pastor, I need to raise up other worship leaders because I will burn out. And if you're already burning out, you have to have that honest conversation with your pastor, because that will put a little bit of fire under their behind to take you seriously. Like if they're afraid that they might lose you for good because you're going to get burnt out, you're going to get tired, and you're going to just run out of steam and go to a different church, they will take your request more seriously. I'm not saying you should threaten your pastor or give them an ultimatum, but that you should tell them, especially if you're a volunteer or a bivocational worship leader, you should tell them, I am running out of steam, I am burning out, and I need some support. I'd like to train up some other worship leaders. I found a system, refer to my previous video, on how to do it. And here are the 5 whys that I think we should do it. Refer to the first video in this mini series. Seriously, check out those videos if you haven't. There are 5 reasons that you can pitch to your pastor why he should let you raise up worship leaders at your church. So check out video number 1 for the 5 reasons to pitch. Check out video number 2 for the system you've found to developing worship leaders, or wait for the big solution that I'm going to share with you at the end. But if you follow my 7-step process from the previous video, your church shouldn't notice a big quality dip, because as you're ramping this person up, you're fading yourself out, so that by the time you fade out completely, they're already at the same level as you, or at least close. So that is the first obstacle and solution to raising up worship leaders at your church. The second obstacle is lack of time. Worship leaders are busy. You are busy. You might even be bivocational or volunteer. You have another job and you do this part-time or as a volunteer, and you might have a family and you're expected to build worship sets, have Bible studies with volunteers, audition new team members, sit in staff meetings. You're like, how am I supposed to find time to develop a curriculum for training my worship leaders and set aside time to regularly meet with them on a weekly basis to actually train them? I just don't have time. And while I do sympathize with how you feel, we're all busy, I want you to realize that raising up worship leaders can actually save you time in the long run. And you need to flip your mindset on this to realize it's a short-term investment. You're going to overdo it for a season so that you can free up a lot of time in the long run. It's a short-term investment for a long-term gain. You're going to raise this person up for a 6-month period, and then for the rest of your life, or as long as they remain at the church, you will have a capable helper who can take much of the workload from you. This is a short-term sacrifice for a long-term win. So that's the mindset shift that we have to make. Now, what is the solution to the lack of time? Well, I have 2. One I'll tell you about now, one I'll tell you about at the end. The first solution is to bring someone along for the ride. Now, while I do like the idea of having a scheduled time that you're meeting with someone every week, sometimes that's not realistic. What's better is to just have them there with you whenever you're doing what you're doing. So this works well, especially if they're a younger worship leader. They usually have a lot more free time. And what you want to do is you want to work while they watch you. So if you're already going to be building a set, have them watch you build the set. If you're already going to be scheduling the team, have them right there by your side watching you schedule the team, and do the work and explain the work while they're sitting there. This will not add any time requirements to your calendar because you're already going to be doing that work anyway. Just invite them along for the journey. You can even do it digitally through Zoom. Hey, I'm going to schedule the team. I'm going to share my screen with you. Watch me do it. I'm going to explain what I'm doing. It might add 5 or 10 minutes to the process, 5 or 10 minutes longer than usual, but long term, you're going to save time because in 3 months, you're going to say, you schedule the team, and they can do it because you've trained them. So yes, you're going to invest time, but you're going to save a lot of time in the long run and do the work while they watch approach. That is your first solution. The second solution to this obstacle I will tell you about at the end. Okay, so lack of leadership support, lack of time. The third and final obstacle that I see is lack of curriculum. Because you don't have the time, you don't have the time to develop a curriculum for the worship leaders you want to train. What sort of material should you be teaching them? In what order? Which topics will yield the greatest results? Do I focus on theological or practical? There are so many questions, and the truth is, you were never trained. I was never trained. We had to fumble our way, fail our way forward. So we don't know what to teach somebody. So how do we overcome this obstacle? I have two solutions for you. The first solution is to explain everything you do as a worship leader. You're going to make a huge list of everything you do within a 1 month time frame. So you schedule teams, you build your sets, you meet with your pastor, you disciple your volunteers. Whatever you do in a given month, you're going to write it down in a list. Once you have that huge list, you're going to break each of those main topics out into subtopics. So building a set, how do I decide which songs are congregational? How do I build musical flow? How do I build thematic flow? How do I evaluate if it will match with the pastor's sermon? Whatever it is, all the subcategories, you write all of those subtopics down below each of your main topics. You teach one of those subtopics per week until you've covered that entire topic. That's how you're going to overcome this obstacle of not having curriculum. Now, you might be saying, Alex, this is way too much. I don't have the time or the bandwidth to do this. Great. Let me tell you about the final solution that will solve all of these problems and will help you develop new worship leaders at your church with minimal effort while still keeping you in the loop. And that is the Worship Ministry Training Academy's church plans. We just launched this. This is brand new. You can now have group access to the Worship Ministry Training Academy, where you can invite all of your worship leaders into the academy. I can train them for you, and you can stay in the loop while I provide the resources, the structure, the curriculum, the discussion questions, and even a private space for you and for your church's worship leaders to discuss what they're learning. Let me show you how other churches are using the Academy's church plan to raise up worship leaders at their church. So if you don't know what the Worship Ministry Training Academy is, we have 10 in-depth courses that cover all the major topics of worship leadership. We also have live monthly trainings, expert interviews, live coaching calls, live Q&A sessions, a supportive community, done-for-you documents, resources, and templates, done-for-you admin systems to stay organized and save time. Basically everything you need to build a thriving worship ministry. And we also have churches in here using the academy to disciple their teams. So I want to show you two churches and how they're using it. So David from Rock Point Church in Arizona, he's an incredible leader. He has summer interns every year, and he brings on 3 to 5 interns for his worship ministry and trains them over the summer and gives them chances to lead. Well, David loved the academy so much, he asked if he could use it to disciple his interns. So what he has and what you can have is a private space in the academy. So if you come to the academy, there's all these other spaces. There's our general conversations area, there's our coaching questions area, there's our live events area, we have our courses, we have 10 in-depth courses on different topics: vocal technique, running rehearsal, increasing congregational engagement, set building, team building, musical excellence, copy me course, foundations, and a weekly action plan. So what you could do for your church is you could use the church access to invite all your worship leaders to your own private space in the academy. They'll have access to everything else in the academy, but you also have your own private space where you can assign different lessons for your worship leaders to watch, and then where you can come back to your own private space to discuss. You can even have video calls, like Zoom type rooms, where you can have video call discussions about the topics that your worship leaders are learning. So David has his interns coming back here and reporting on what they're learning from their lessons. Like Samantha Wegg says, her 2 biggest takeaways from the Foundations course are these things. And then Ken from Mitchell Berean Church is assigning his worship leaders different videos and giving them questions to discuss here in their own private area as well. So basically, I'm providing all the training resources for you, even the discussion questions for you, and giving you a private space for your team so that all you have to do is make sure they're going through the academy material. And I've made it even easier for you to have a consistent schedule with your worship leaders. Here's how to do that. In the courses section, if you all enroll in the weekly action plan at the same time, this one here, I will send you an email every week with 1 video to watch and 1 action to take to improve your ministry. So every single week, you and all your worship leaders will get the same video and the same reflection question every single week to go through together. I will deliver it straight to your inbox for you. All you have to do is ask them, what did you guys learn, and how can we implement this in our ministry? So this is how churches are using the church plan inside the Worship Ministry Training Academy to raise up new worship leaders without being overwhelmed, without running out of time, without the headache of developing their own curriculum. I will do it for for you. You just stay involved in the lives of your worship leaders and we'll go through this process together. The good news is it's only $60 a month and you can add unlimited worship leaders to your account. And that includes trainees, up and comers, youth worship leaders, interns, or anyone that you've got your eye on to be a potential worship leader. They can all be added, unlimited in number, for just $60 a month. This is a no-brainer for multi-site churches. If you're a multi-site church, multi-site worship pastor, and you have worship leaders at different sites, this is a no-brainer decision for me to train the worship leaders at your campuses. So $60 a month, unlimited worship leaders to your account, no contracts, cancel at any time. This may not be something that we offer forever. So I want to encourage you, if you're watching this and you're interested, jump on this opportunity while it's still live. If you want to sign up your church, you can email me, alex@worshipministrytraining.com, or click the link below this video. I hope this mini series has been helpful. I hope you will take your calling as equipper and coach seriously, and that you will invest into others to raise others up into capable, godly worship leaders for the glory of God, for the good of the church, and for the good of your soul to take a rest. So God bless you, and I'll see you either in the academy, hopefully, or in the next video.